We are 3 weeks and 2 days removed from the death of George Floyd. And first of all, I need to give a lot of respect to everyone who's been out protesting, those who have been keeping it peaceful, and those who have been out tearing shit up. One thing about marching and protesting, if anyone knows how useless that can be, it's black people. You know, we've been marching and protesting for about 100 years in this country, maybe a little longer than that, and it's gotten us nothing. It's gotten us nowhere. So to all those who are saying that, you know, we want to keep it peaceful and we want to encourage the peaceful protests, listen, peaceful protesting is good. That's cool. But people who are out tearing shit up, those are the people they're going to get the attention. They're going to get the attention of the people that you're trying to persuade to stop doing bad. That's just the way it is. You know, I don't care who you are. In every crew, you need one motherfucker. You need that one motherfucker, that one person who's off the rails sometimes. You know, that one to get it started. And so when I see looters, when I see protesting, when I see guys out tearing stuff up, and women, you know, out tearing stuff up, that's needed. Because if that wasn't needed, then all the marching and all the protesting we've been doing for the last 7,500 years plus, it would have worked already. And there would be no need to do this now. There would be no need for George Floyd to have died. You know, that's just the truth. So I give it up to everybody. Everybody. You know, black people are the ones with their hands on a hot stove. You know, white folks have just walked in the kitchen, just not walked in the kitchen after 400 years and realized that the stove is even on. They didn't know it was on. So we had to let them know, hey, not only is the stove on, but my hand is on this stove. And, hey, we got their attention. Not only their attention, but the attention of the whole world. So props to all the people, young and old, that's out there doing it, especially the young ones. Two wrongs don't make a right. You know, I've been hearing that since I was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. And by the time I was 14 or 15, I remember my mother, she told me, you know, two wrongs don't make a right, because she could see that I was out for getting people back. You know, you do wrong to me, I'm gonna do wrong to you. And so she told me, she said, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. I said, nah, but it makes you even. And really, when you think about it, that's all black people have wanted since they got into this country, since they were brought here, since they were dragged here, is to be even, you know, even, equal, equality. That's what we've been yearning for, to be treated as equals, not to be given anything, to just be treated as equals. So when I think of two wrongs don't make a right, but it makes you even, hey, we just heard about two brothers hanging from trees in California. Now, of course, when they reported the first one, like always, it was a suicide. What brother is gonna hang himself from a tree? Come on now, let's be real. It was a suicide. But then here's another one. Now it's another one. So now we bringing in the FBI and everybody else. Well, so they can do what? So they can tell us what we already knew a week ago, 2 weeks ago? That the first brother didn't hang himself? That it wasn't a suicide? Even now, when we have the U.S. government's attention, even now, they trying to pull bullshit. So that lets you know that they're not as sincere as they claim to be. Oh, we really believe in it now. We get it now. You know, Black Lives Matter. Well, if Black Lives Matter, then you would have had FBI boots on the ground as soon as this first brother was hanging out here in Palmdale. You know, so no, you still pulling bullshit. You know, so that takes me right back to That's why we need not only the protesting, but we need people out there tearing shit up. Cause they ain't gonna get it. They just don't get it. They won't get it. You know, and with all the protesters, I've been surprised. I'll say that. I've been surprised that all of the white people who have joined in on this global movement. It's really become a global movement. But even though I am happy to see that their eyes are, opening and things like that, hey, we could have said the same thing 60 years ago during the March on Washington. The fact is that, as I said before, our hand is on the stove. They're just not walking into the kitchen. So our need, we're at a more a desperate moment. Our need is far greater than their want to have things done righteously and legally. So it's going to be up to us. It's going to be up to us to bring everything in line. It's going to be up to us to fight for our freedom. I'll say this. When it comes to the U.S. government and those whites who do not want us, who don't want to just give over freedom and equality, in a way, I can't blame them. They fought and died for their freedom. Black people have been marching. Black people have been walking and protesting and begging and pleading. They should just do what's right. But honestly, after 400 years, can you really expect white people to just do what's right? Nah. I'm always a little surprised when they do things that are right. So, looking at our situation, I just think that it's going to take, unfortunately, it's going to take a lot of us being willing to die. We're going to have to die for it, because if they got their freedom through war, revolution, why would we expect them to just hand it over to us? That I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to take a real revolution, not begging and pleading. So to close out, hopefully we can continue on the path that we're on, not quiet down, not go away, and every time something happens, two wrongs don't make a right, but it makes you even. Every time we run into a situation where a black man is being gunned down, listen, I got 3 kids, right? I got 3 kids, all of them over the age of 18. But I've said for about 10 years now, if anyone takes the life of one of my kids, there's no way in hell I'm not taking the life of one of your kids. There's no way. If I gotta bury one of mine, you're gonna bury 2 of yours. That's guaranteed. And some people, a lot of people, even black people, will say, "Oh man, that's too extreme." Wait a minute. That's, those kids have nothing to do with your child being taken away. Well, my kids got nothing to do with that person's hatred, that person's racism. Now if my kid is out doing something and causing bodily harm to someone, or put someone in a situation where it's their life is on the line, then hey, and you had to kill one of my kids, as a father, I'm gonna be devastated. But as long as you can show me that was going to be the outcome, then I have to take that one. I have to take that. But if you can't show me that, then I got to take one of your kids. I had to take 2 of them. If I got to bury one of mine, you're going to bury 2 of yours. And until we until we start thinking like that, like they think. You know, when you look at 9/11, they didn't sit around, they didn't wait. You know, not only did they go and start a war that we're still fighting right now today, they started a war in a country that had nothing to do with 9/11. Nothing. You know, had nothing to do with 9/11. Saddam was sitting there like, the fuck y'all fucking with me for? I ain't do that shit, you know. And they didn't wait, you know. They didn't wait. They started strategizing September 11th. They started strategizing September 12th. So we have to realize who we're dealing with. You're dealing with the United States government. You know. Hey, we have to employ their tactics. Go about things the way they do. And if it comes to all-out war, then so be it. So be it. You know, none of us want to walk down this path, but damn, 400 years. How long are we supposed to wait? That's really all I got to say. Just a lot of props to everybody. Even those I don't agree with. You know, even the ones who would look at this video and not agree with me. Man, I got to give you props and love, because I never thought I would see anything like this. So I'm giving it up to all of y'all.